Miss MJ. And MJ is the author of the book. It's called The 10 Commandments of Financial Awareness for God's People. The book sounds pretty interesting. And when you speak about finances, I know we all can use some tips regarding financing and managing money and the whole nine. We're not going to get into the book right now. We're going to start off to you. How was life for you as a young girl growing up in Delaware? Tell us that story.
Thank you. Well, first, I want to thank you for having me on Mark
You're welcome.
B's Perspective.
Thank you.
And thank you for your interest in who I am. I also want to thank the viewing audience, people that will see this video via social media. Again, my name is MJ Haskins, and as you mentioned, I am the author of the book 10 Commandments of Financial Awareness for God's People. To answer your first question, my childhood. So, my childhood began in a middle class family. My mother was a single parent, and it was pretty nice. I lived in a development called Brookmont Farms, where there were many Black families, some white families, and actually Latino families. And so back then, there were undeveloped areas, and we had an area called the Dirt Hills. And so back in the day, bikes were important to kids. So for instance, my sister, she wanted to get the BMX, I believe it's called the Huffy. So I didn't really care. I just wanted to have a bike. And so we would ride in an area called the Dirt Hills. And I just remember being so free, back then, riding my bike, going on adventures every day. We did not want to come in a house. We were called to the house. Some kids had to be in by the street lights, and sometimes our mother just called us in. But I like the woods. I grew up around woods where I would see tadpoles, and there would be a little lake, and I would pick flowers in the forest. My mother called them weeds, but she still appreciated me picking her the flowers. And we would just play, with mud pies, making mud pies, and just doing what we do. Unfortunately, my mother had some life controlling issues, specifically drinking alcohol, dealing with alcohol. And so that is where my life kind of changed as I grew. But my childhood was I was fairly happy, except for moving. We would move a lot. But I had a fairly good childhood.
That's good to hear. So before I get into the next question, I want to kind of ask you, because you kind of presented, struggles that your mom had. At what point did you see MJ becoming kind of not who you are now, but at what from the childhood to kind of being introduced to who you were going to be? Kind of show us from that childhood, going in the woods to play and all that good stuff, until maybe some mid-teenage years to becoming who you were going to be. You weren't complete yet, but kind of graduating from that little girl, right, that played in the woods to, the next phase of becoming, kind of having an idea of who you was going to become.
Well, that is actually a good point, because I do recall it was still in my childhood. One day I came up with the idea, but I know all things flow from God. But I came up with the idea to ask the neighbors if I could take the trash out of their yard for 25 cents. And so I went to 4 houses. I made $1. And on my way back home, I spent 50 cents because I saw the ice cream truck and I brought an ice cream sandwich that day. But that was really the start of me being an entrepreneur.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
I didn't realize that. And in my teenage years or middle school, I was part of a great community center called the Neighborhood House in Southbridge, South Wilmington. And there they had similar entrepreneurship where I would make strawberry iced tea. That was my twist. And I would sell the iced tea to the employees or to anyone who was in the area in South Wilmington. We would be set up in front of the community center.
Okay.
So these were the seeds that were planted. And I will say, thirdly, my grandfather, he owned a waste management company. So he had a couple of garbage trucks. And every time I went to visit him, he would have a wad of money this thick in his pocket. And he would peel off $1 to me, peel off $1 to my sister. But that was kind of shaping it until I went to college and my mentor suggested that I choose business, and that's what I did.
Okay, so that's what got you in business. So
Yeah.
this question is kind of more specific, is right on those same lines. What led you to the profession of financial awareness? I understand you was into business, but what led you specifically into that lane?
You remember that commercial about Rogaine? He said, I'm not just the seller of this product, but I am actually a customer. I'm a client.
Okay. Yeah.
And so what I observed as a young teenager is people having money, not having money. My mother seemed to never be able to keep money and pay for everything, in spite of she had a good job. She worked for the refinery in Delaware City as a chemical operator. Back then, she made a lot of money because she was one of the first women to actually join the company. And it started out as Getty, then it went to Texaco. And I asked her, about credit, and because I saw in a book one day, it was like an order catalog, and I'm saying, how does this work? And they're sending you the product, on credit, and then you would have to pay for it. But to make a long story short, my mother, God bless her heart, did not teach me how to manage my finances as a young lady, a young adult. I did have my aunt saying that I need to always save, but she didn't actually take me to do that. And I think that's missing. We can't just give advice to the youth, but we have to kind of guide them through it, walk them through it. And so I ended up making a bad decision, and my mother didn't allow me to take a vehicle back. I had a 83 83 Mustang and in college, and I paid for it myself, the down payment. I was making payments. I had one $250 payment left to make, literally one. And then one day, my friend, he called me to take him to the car dealership to try to buy a car. He had cash, like $1,500, but he did not get approved. And the salesperson asked that I want to apply for a vehicle. And I said yes, because the Altimas were new back then,
Right.
and it was predatory lending. And I purchased a Chrysler LeBaron 1994, and that car is a nightmare. It cost me so much because I was making like a $300 payment in college, whereas my car could have been paid off. And
Mm.
so my car ended up breaking down, and I didn't have the money to both pay the note and pay the price for it to be fixed.
Yeah.
And so they end up repossessing a car. But that really hurt me. I mean, that really hurt me and messed up my credit, because evidently I had good credit because I qualified. It was a $19,000 car. And I also had a $1,000 Discover card, which I used for insurance. I never got a chance to just enjoy that Discover card. So it ended up messing up my credit. So I know what it's like to have bad credit and to be there and to make those mistakes. But that's why I don't judge anyone when it comes to their finances. I'm all about helping you get to the solution so that we can restore what, as the Bible says, the cankerworm and the locust has eaten and has taken away.
So that's good, and that experience is probably valuable, and I know you probably use that later on in life to help you make better decisions. So just for me, or for the audience, let us know, what advice would you have, or do you have, for somebody in your situation or a similar situation, that's, especially how you gave the example, they're about to pay, finish paying for that car, but you know how, like you said, dealerships do, they want you to apply. And instead of letting you pay that last payment or how many ever payments, that part was in, I guess, with the new loan as well. So what would your advice be to somebody new, starting off with the credit and all that? What advice would you have for them getting a new car? Let's say they got a new car, opportunity to get a new car. And cars now are a lot higher, let's say 30, maybe 40,000, but they may have
So
good
to
credit.
answer your
Yeah.
question, and it doesn't have to refer to a vehicle, but we can
Okay.
go into details about that. Protect your credit. That's number one. Protect your credit. Do not use your credit until you have income to be able to manage the credit. Because if you apply for a credit card, but you don't have the means to pay the minimum payment for that credit card or those credit cards, then you will, in fact, mess up your credit. So, I also want to mention for the young people, because you can get credit, I believe you have to be 18 to be able to get a credit card. And so there are children who have parents, especially in our community, that use their child's name and their credit when they have destroyed their credit. And
Exactly.
so when that happens, we're not giving our children a fair start, because they've ruined their credit before they get an opportunity to understand what it is, how to use it wisely, and how to manage that credit card. So your credit must be protected until you have income to be able to maintain whatever that is, whether it's a credit card note, an auto note. And you made a point about the vehicles. I now pay cash for my vehicles. It's either paying cash, or if I can pay that vehicle off in less than a year. If not, I will not purchase it. Right now, I'm going to hold out a couple more years before I get a new BMW. So it's important to understand money. This is not about tips and things of that nature. No, 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 no. Money management must be a lifestyle if you plan on having some decent kind of financial life. It's not, I'm going to say it's mandatory. Okay. But we have treated it like it's not mandatory to make sure that we're managing our cash, our finances, and our credit. It's so mandatory because even in the Bible, it says that money is a what? A necessity. You need money to function. You need money to move. Not that we're making money our God, but we're being responsible and good stewards of our money, as I mentioned in my book.
Very good. Very good. I actually got a passage in the book that I want to read, but I'm gonna do that in a minute. I got a two-part question, right? First of all, the first part of the two-part question is the name Covenant Financial LLC. How did you come up with that name? And the second part to that question, I want you to share with us some of the products and services that you offer.
Absolutely. That's a great question. So, covenant, in the respect of God made a covenant with man. He made several covenants. And so when God is faithful and we're not faithful, he is still faithful. He has made a covenant such as Deuteronomy 8:18. For it is God who gives us the ability to create wealth so that he may establish his covenant that he swore to our ancestors and forefathers. So the covenant was made before we even came to this earth or were birthed. And so that's the covenant that I'm speaking of. I also want to mention my logo. My logo, you will see, is a sheep, because it's a reminder that sometimes sheep can be dumb and sometimes they can wander away from the flock, right? And so it's just something to keep me humble and to acknowledge that it is God that has given me the power to create a business, to come up with the ideas that he has given me to create and maintain a financial consulting business and to be a community advocate. Some of the products and services that I offer, my business is split into two divisions. You have the side where I do estate planning and where I do tax planning and preparation. That's the financial consultant piece, consultant coach. And then you have me as an author speaker. So the financial consultant part of the business, I offer products and services such as a last living will and testament, financial power of attorney, medical power of attorney, advanced healthcare directive, which is your legacy package as well. And what do you want to happen with your assets that you leave behind? Who do you want your assets and property to go to? And some people want to be cremated. And, you know, so you plan that package based on how you want to be remembered and memorialized. Also, I help clients with taxes. I do back taxes because, again, I've been there, done that. I have ruined my credit in the past, so I understand personally how to help people. And so tax preparation, which our village really do not understand what that is about, even the estate planning. But to answer your question, that's that side. I want to also mention I have a product, well, it's a membership, and it's called Beaumont. Beaumont is French for high society. And so it's a subscription that my potential clients and clients can sign up for. It's $49.99 a month or $29.99 a month, whatever fits your pocketbook or your wallet. And so for that monthly amount, you have access to having a 1-hour consultation with me every month, unlimited notary services. It also includes 50% off the estate planning package and other tax products. So I wanted to mention that. And as you showed our guest, the book 10 Commandments of Financial Awareness was published in November of 2024. And it was revised from my original book, 10 Commandments of Financial Awareness. And if you want to get the secular book, you can. This one is for God's people. I don't limit it to Christians, and that's why I put God's people. You can be a Christian, you could be a Muslim, a Buddhist, you can practice Taoism, okay? But I added these scriptures because it's part of who I am and how I see God fulfilling his purpose in me. And I live by those words in the Holy Book, in my opinion. And even if people don't, believe in Jesus at all, we all agree that he was a wise man and he showed us how to live a moral life. Okay. And showed us an example of a human pleasing God.
Okay. This is a good book. I ordered it, so I know, exactly where to get it from. But let the audience know where both of the books, where can they purchase your books?
You can purchase your book from your favorite online retailer, Amazon, Lulu. You can Google it. Some Christian stores have it. And also you can go to my website, which is mycovenantfinancial.com. mycovenantfinancial.com.
Very good. And you spoke of the subscription, right? But where can they get the subscription? Let us know. Let the audience know, where can we subscribe with MJ? The two subscriptions you was talking about.
You can go to my website and that subscription will be there. You can click on it, or you can call me direct on my business line, which is area code 302-333-3403. Again, that's 302-333-3403. And you can also go to my social media pages at Marcella Haskins. You can Google me by my business name, Covenant Financial LLC.
That's very good. Very good. So I see you as a walking wealth of knowledge when it comes to this financial, money and taxes and all that stuff. You're a walking wealth of knowledge. So what I want to do, I want to read a passage from your book, if you will be patient with me, right?
Sure. Thank you, Mark. Absolutely. And Mark and I, while he's doing that, Mark and I have similar names. Okay, my name is Marcella Joanne. That's why I go by MJ. But Marcella is derived from the name Mark, as we discussed, or Markets, and we both know we are what? Warriors.
That's right.
I'm gonna just end it at that.
Okay, I heard that. So it's on page 4, and to start off, what is financial literacy? Financial literacy is the cornerstone of sound financial decision making and achieving economic well-being. It encompasses an individual grasp of personal financial concepts and their capacity to apply this knowledge to enhance their financial situations. With a strong foundation in financial literacy, individuals may be able to manage their finances effectively and achieve long-term objectives like home ownership or retirement. I hope I didn't make you look bad reading your book.
No, that's great. We need
Okay.
this knowledge, you
Right.
know.
Yes.
I just want to freely give what was freely given to me, you know. Each one teach one.
Exactly.
So
So go
go
ahead. I'm
ahead.
sorry. I just was gonna, ask you, what was the decision, your best decision that you made that you can think of, or one of the good decisions that you made? Let us know. It said, name the best decision you made in your life, or one that you can
Without
remember. Yeah.
without a doubt, that would be attending a historically Black college and university. I attended Bennett College for Women in Greensboro, North Carolina. I graduated from Bennett College, although I started at another college in North Carolina called Barbara Scotia. But I am a Northern Bennett Belle. Bennett Bells, we do it well,
Okay.
and we are phenomenal. We are
Wow.
phenomenal women.
Wow.
So let me tell you why, Mark. Growing up, going through the public school system, the majority of my classmates were European, right? And in a sense, I've always felt inferior to them. Like they seem to always be smarter, brighter, more intelligent, getting the awards and the rewards, getting honor roll. I never really made honor roll. I was always the BC student. It did change when I went to college. I was on the dean's list and got a 3.5 GPA. But I'm saying that to say that anyone can be an entrepreneur with or without a college degree. But I had more Black or indigenous professors. And one of my professors taught me about millionaires, Black millionaires during the Depression.
Mm.
That's an education I would have never received at a traditional European university. That alone was worth $40,000. The boost it did for my self-confidence and my self-esteem, being around 800 other Black women, Black queens, okay, and just knowing ourselves, having knowledge of ourselves, and exploring. And I met a lot of my conscious brothers and sisters down south, and it was just an awesome experience. You're meeting people from all over the country, even all over the world. I had college mates from New York, New Jersey, North Carolina, South Carolina, Florida, and even I had friends from DC, what is it called? The Virgin Islands. They would call it the
Okay.
VI.
Hmm.
Also met ladies from the Dominican Republic and Bermuda. So it just broadened my horizon. And I advocate that any young king or queen attend a historically Black college or university.